It's a bird. What if nobody joins my live?
I'm here with you.
You can have an open discussion with me.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess.
Try it, but I don't think.
It's already online.
No.
Right there. Don't come over here, there's nobody on it.
I gotta get my.
I wanted to go live no matter if there's nobody in here or not. So that I don't have to edit the video because it takes a long time. But there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about, specifically the mistress, or what many people are calling North Korea. About her interrogation video and some of the things that I'm noticing that deal with whether or not she's being truthful in how much she knows and how much she doesn't know. So I don't think that she was there during the murders. However, I do feel like maybe she had some knowledge of that something was going to happen, whether it be if she had knowledge that he was going to do something to his family, or the fact that he would do something drastic in order to be with her. And the reason why I think that is that she was really pressing him to find the apartment. She went and she, found the perfect to make some type of move. Another thing that makes me think that she knew something is the fact that she deleted information off her phone. Now, part of that, I think she didn't want her pictures to be exposed to the public. But I also wonder what else she was trying to keep off her phone. Because when you watch the interrogation video, she brings her phone that she's been using, and she also brings what she calls as an old phone. All the officer asks her if it's new, so you can only think that it looks new, but she said she had it 6 years ago. But usually if you have a phone that long, it doesn't really look new. So I don't know why he would ask if it's new, because it's pretty easy to observe a phone that is old, because technology has changed a lot in 6 years. So anyway, she claims that the other phone was old. But what I thought was interesting in the interrogation is she went in there really confident. You can have the text messages on my phone. You can go through it. You can take the data on her old phone. But then she went and she told the IT guy that she needed help, syncing her contacts. And it seems as if when she was trying to sync her contacts, that all the text messages that she deleted off of her current phone synced up to the old phone. And it seemed during that time in the interrogation that she became a little bit nervous and a little bit more quiet. and there's nowhere where she could go where she could say, oh, no, you can't sync this. It was kind of like she was cornered, and she was like, yeah, you can just take the data off of this phone as well. Hold on a second. How do I look at... This is my first live stream, so I see that somebody's in the chat. If you... Oh, if you would like to discuss with me about the Chris Watts case, I think that would be wonderful. Or if you have any questions, because I have other videos on this account. This is an old account that I created 6 years ago, and or 5 years ago, I can't tell, 5 or 6 years ago, where I did a lot of like hair care, and I had gerbils at the time. But the problem is I don't know how to see if you write anything, or to even see who's there. But if you write something, hopefully it'll pop up on the screen, and hopefully it'll work that way. So basically, I feel like she maybe had some type of knowledge of what was going on through Chris's head. Especially because within those 3 months that she claimed that they were together, you know, she said they talked for hours when he went to bed. And they talked on the 12th. And then she claims that, you know, just deleted all his messages, and I didn't talk to him when I saw things on the news. Yet she also called and talked to him on the day of the murders as well. And I think even those interviews as well. Excuse me. Let me see if I can find her audio. Kind of play a little bit of the interrogation. I also think it's important to note that between the time when she was talking to the male officers versus when the two female CBI agents came in, her demeanor and her tone of voice completely changed. As if she's acting one way with the male officers and another way when the females come in there. And then there's another point whenever the female CBI agents come in and she comes to like rub her shoulder, you notice that she kind of like pulled away, like she didn't want to be touched by the female. Alright, so let me play a little bit of this. Turn it down.
Right here is good. Alright, I'll be right back, alright? I'm just going to get Tammy so she can introduce herself, alright? Be right back.
Do you want to say, as this is running, Happy New Year's, wherever you are? I'm in New York City, so it's 10:05.
You alright? Yeah. These rooms are recorded, so anything you say in here is subject.
It also seems like when she is messing around, she's claiming I can't get to the Play Store, I can't even whatever, all these excuses. So she finally gets it on and she finally gets it synced up. And it seems like when the information starts to come in from her old phone, that she's like quickly going through it to see what's coming through.
It's recording, just so you know. And you said on your telephones first.
They gave me a piece of paper to transfer my contacts. Wouldn't do it for me, but
You should be able to just put them on the iCloud.
I don't know how to do this. They set up all this app. I can't even find the app store on this.
Oh my gosh, she's. Oops. Oh yeah, it's still going. So
Yeah. So strange. I tried to transfer all the stuff from this one to this one.
What bothers, I know I keep pausing it, but what bothers me a lot about her interrogation is she seems very unsympathetic. She's not being, I mean, even she mentions that her friend's father died that day or the day before or something like that. And she makes snide comments about it. She doesn't seem to be like really caring.
Last night and started thinking up like old text, like stuff I don't even have saved in here.
Or any of them from Chris?
Yeah, a few, but not many. It's pretty short. There's like 10 or 12, and there's like a few from those days, but most of it is. Hi. Hello.
This is
Yeah.
Tammy.
Tammy.
Come in,
Nice to meet
Stacy.
you. Yeah, I'm Stacy Galbraith. Nice to meet you. How are you doing? All right. Getting through it? Trying.
Stressing out.
Just now, yeah, you look stressed out. Did you get some therapy figured out?
I'm waiting.
They're telling her you look stressed out, and all she does is she smiles and she looks down. And before, she's all chatty with the officer, but as soon as the females walk in, she gets really closed off and she gets quiet.
Thanks for good feedback.
Yeah. Does Hazel need to?
Yeah, we're gonna see if Hazel comes in. So, Weld County's just, I had to write a letter yesterday for Weld County to approve.
Years.
Yeah.
So she's not an eyewitness.
Let us know where you're from.
But, it sounded like there was not.
Let me see if I can
It's just a process.
actually see.
So when you go through the text
You guys are
messages,
talking.
Andy and probably Stacy will be there, so you guys know each other. Or if they reach out to you, you know that they're not the media.
Yeah. Can you give me your card?
Yeah.
I got
everyone.
Okay, I just,
Thank
now
you.
with this new phone, it's like, I got so many numbers that I'm sure I can figure
So-
out who they are, but I need to just deal with that. Like, if you guys can help me get all of my contacts from this phone to
So I can get a tech guy maybe to help me.
Hey, Nick Horner, you wrote. Sorry. As I said before, this is the first time that I've done the chat. So I really don't know how everything works. Because when you watch somebody do the chat, things just pop up. Oh, there it is. She's totally psycho. She might not have directly talked with him about him killing his family, but she totally is. It's on the side. I agree with that absolutely. It seemed like she was pressing him to do something, whether or not it was to leave his wife or to find some way to get out of the relationship, because she wanted more from him. She wanted his full attention. If Shanann is away for 5 weeks, they were like in a fantasy land for 5 weeks together. She had his full undivided attention. They could meet whenever they wanted. Yeah. Let me play a little bit more of this.
Because I'm bad at it
Give
too.
me instructions.
So
Hold on. what I really wish that we could find out is what did they talk about on the 12th? I mean, he was contemplating all day of what he was going to do. He was deleting messages from Shanann. He sent her that Facebook picture and put that way. I think he was trying to freak Shanann out or trying to get a rise out of her. Deleting Facebook, which is Shanann's business, he said he was never on it. She knew his password. She was posting for him. You know, he didn't care about using the credit card.
This is your old phone?
This is the one that I use for communication. This is the one that's going to you guys.
Okay.
This one's mine.
This is nicer.
I know. iPhones suck. I'm
I know.
relieved to have this back.
Okay, so you want to move contacts from there and there.
That's all I want to do. Once you guys do that, then you guys can have this phone. I mean, he gave me a way to do it, so I think I need to connect to Wi-Fi, and then I need to download this app, and then I think once I download it, I can sync it up. And I need to just download the app on both phones.
You even hear her say on here, once you guys sync up the phone, you can have my current phone. I just old text messages that she paid however much money on to get removed, syncs up on the phone. I don't think she was, I don't think that she was expecting that.
So let me get a guy who knows about Wi-Fi. Is your password still 653038?
Yeah, you're saying like they're out of order, they're scrambled, they're missing. They don't make sense. I got super excited when I saw them because I was like,
I have a device that can
I agree. She was very
this
fake.
one too. All right. I mean, I don't know if that'll work, but we can try it.
Here's mine.
Thank you for, thank you.
And then Kevin knows how to get a hold of us after hours and whatever.
And every time these women come in, her demeanor is completely different. She gets real quiet.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Are you giving her a...
But when she linked her accounts, a bunch of messages between her and Chris were recovered.
Hear how quiet she's not even talking here. She looks like she's nervous.
So we don't have to take all her notes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Are you good here for a bit?
Do you
Okay.
have some water or anything?
Please.
Okay.
If I do a video on, North Korea, then, although I feel like anybody who's in this chat has probably already seen the interview.
Okay, so
App Store. Yeah, right. She's probably gonna, they're syncing up.
Water. Anything else? Okay, so we didn't hear just a few minutes, okay?
And feel free to share your thoughts, because this is an open discussion, whether you agree with me or not. I'm not opposed. I mean, that's the point of a discussion, is to, analyze together. I wonder if she thought in her brain, like, could I delete these messages? Because she's sitting in here by herself. I wonder if she's contemplating that, or she's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna let them have all the data. I don't want to be caught in another lie. skip forward.
Right.
Like
And
it's always that one, or originally was it?
we talked about your GPS.
I have all that, I just was like, oh my God, I have so many texts on here between me and all my friends, I'm like, do
I
they
think
really
what
want
turned me
this
against
stuff?
her was not
Well,
that
is
I
there
thought
anything
she
in
knew
those texts that
or
you'd be
had
concerned
involvement,
So,
but that she was so cold during the interview, those babies were dead, and she showed no compassion. Yeah, absolutely. She was acting like it was just another day. Like this happens all the time, and she just wanted to give them their information. She wanted to leave. Yeah, it really makes me upset, especially because even during Chris's interrogation, what was the one thing he was concerned about? Not his family, but the fact that North Korea had a hard life and he didn't want to expose, you know, any information about her, didn't want the public to know about her. Like, really? Yeah, she did love the attention from it. Let me know if you think that she's really in witness protection, because I don't think so. I think she, lawyered up pretty quickly. And once Chris confessed, I think that her lawyer kind of, or maybe she even hired a PR, that she was in witness protection to kind of get the attention a little bit away from her. But I think watching like 5 or 6 months, she's going to come out, do a story on 2020 or something, trying to tell her side of the story. Because, I mean, this is a high profile case. Everybody, even though there is some closure because Chris did confess, there's a lot of, I don't even know what to call it. They're not really holes in the story, but there's a lot of lies that people would just want him to take ownership of what he did, and people want North Korea to take ownership of her part. One of the things I was thinking, I think I said this earlier, is yes, Chris confessed. There's information redacted from the discovery files. A lot of it people think is Nicole, or let me say North Korea again, sorry. North Korea's text messages. I wonder that even if he confessed, could they have redacted that information, like that part of the investigation is still open, to see if she was in some type of way conspiring with him? Yeah, because he confessed. We have closure in that way. I just can't believe the blatant lies he told. I mean, even looking at his dad, who he claims is, the most, he only cared about the opinion of his dad, right? And the people who are in his family, because he looked up to his father. I just find it so interesting. It doesn't matter, because after this, I don't have to explain myself. I don't believe how cold he was, period. Right. Right. And him sitting there eating the pizza and looking at his children. I like the way that you think, Nick. Let me play this again. Oh, I muted it up here.
Do you understand what I mean? Might go, oh, because somebody else was the one who told me about Charlotte, and this message. So I've never
Well,
read
that's probably
this.
why.
Potentially,
I'm assuming that that's
Yeah.
what that is. Because I said his name. And I don't even think she's put two and two together, because last night it was just like the way she was talking. She wasn't like, this is him, this is it. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I just assume this is it, because this guy looked in a dark, but she was not even like processing.
you mean by can tell he has a lot to take care of in life? What did you mean when you said that? Okay.
Have any of you looked up other cases like the Brittany Shank case? Or, I mean, the Molly Tibbetts case, they're going to go to trial in April.
Like, I think I made it clear that I wasn't like 100% sure this was like the man of my dreams and I was gonna spend the rest of my life with
Did you
him
get
or
the
anything,
corn
but I
dogs
was
out?
enjoying
Oh, can I have a couple?
spending with him at that point.
Thank you.
You're referencing that he has 2 kids and then
She lied also because she
like
said
that?
that she told him to go fix his marriage when he went
because
to
you
North
had
Carolina
experience with somebody else?
that last week, but she was sending
I
him
just
naked
I wasn't
selfies
sure
while he
if
was there.
He was the one I wanted to be with because he had already like,
Yeah, I talked about that in another video about how she claims that she's encouraging him. Thank you. She's encouraging him to be with his wife. She even text saying, "Is what we're doing wrong?" I think that was what she texted him. Yeah, you know, as an adult, you know what you're doing is wrong, but you still keep doing it. You're encouraging him to stay with his wife, yet you're finding him apartments, and every time the relationship seems like it's going good with Shanann, you start to send multiple nude photos. She just wanted, in my thinking, she just wanted the attention. She wanted almost complete control of him. Sorry, it's New Year, so we got like mini weenies and Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce. I'm hungry, sorry. Let me continue with this. The detective's over here reading her phone and she's not even looking at him. She's nervous. And the reason why I know that she's nervous is because she's a talker. She'll talk about nothing just to talk. And so if you're a talker, what are you going to do when you're nervous? You're going to not talk. You're going to get real quiet. Just like with Chris. Naturally, he's a quiet person. And then when he gets nervous, what does he do? He talks. She tried to manipulate him into leaving his wife on her timeline because I believe she did push him to what? To annihilate his family. I don't think she thought he would do something like take out his whole family. But then at the same time, she's unsympathetic about the whole situation. It's the same thing that I think about his dad. Okay, his dad came down really quick. He knew to fly down. Chris is the one that picked him up. I did not look up how far away the airport is from where Chris lives. But what did they talk about in the car? Because when Chris confesses, his father is not crying. His father doesn't seem upset. He says a couple things, but he says it very monotone. And he's very quick to blame Shanann. The whole family's very quick to blame Shanann. But I don't know, it's like when you have pre-knowledge of something, all I can think of is like when your friend tells you, or when you hear from somebody else, like a rumor or something around the office, and then your friend finally tells you about it, and you're like, oh yeah, that happened? Like, you don't have a real, genuine reaction because you already had pre-knowledge of it, you know?
phone issue. Okay.
She
So-
brought it up again last night, but she didn't.
Brought up what?
This is the part that's so insensitive about her friend. She brought it up again last night that her father died, but like, listen to what she says.
Like, connect the dots. She was like freaking out there. She was really
Is that
upset. She wanted me to come see her on Saturday because it's his way.
So unexpected?
Kind of, sort of. He had Parkinson's. So kind of, but not. You know what I'm saying? It was a very drawn out thing. But she's having a really hard time with it. I knew she would. And she's like, can you make the wake on Saturday? And I was like, I'm really hesitant to leave the house. And I didn't tell her that, but I was like, I don't know. I'll try. And I'm going to go, but I'm not going to tell her until it's like a way before I have to be there. And
So
she
what
started
is she reference
freaking out.
about? Just, is Chris the guy? I'm more interested
No, she
in-
didn't even ask me if she was just like, she's like, I don't know what's going on. She's like, you can see it.
So.
Oh my God, her voice is so annoying.
On a text before you were coming, that there was other information that you thought of that was important again?
Yeah.
I want to talk.
Get so sidetracked.
I'll do this, will you do that? And then,
I'll show her that
Yeah,
there's
show
so
her.
much in here. Like, I will just say,
you guys talk a lot.
yeah. She is like not right here. So
I also thought it was really interesting that anytime, like, she never really gave any details about anything. The only details that we really got from her were from the text messages that they did recover. Anytime they really asked her a question, she either changed the topic or she said that she didn't remember. Which, if your relationship, you've had a hot and steamy relationship, that relationship has become kind of the focal point of your life at the moment, right? I don't know. That's what I think.
first she sends me this, and she's not even asking me about him. She's saying he looks like her ex. That's when she first brings him up. She doesn't even mention me at that point. I don't even think she realizes it's the same guy. Like, legitimately. I think this girl is so wrapped up in all the stuff that she's got going on right now that I don't think it's even processing. I mean, you can just tell by the way that she, like,
She was trying to make herself out to be a saint.
talks.
Yeah, like she had no involvement whatsoever in anything.
Mhm.
Not talk to the media. Not
Like,
talk to the
she's trying to make herself seem like she wasn't really a mistress, and you know, she didn't know certain information, when I think she was very much involved in his state of mind.
But you're not talking about children or your relationship with Chris or anything like that?
No, the only time I ever mentioned him was like that one day.
Okay.
And I didn't even remember that I even had like said that to her.
What's her phone number?
720-425-7220.
So I'm not gonna call her, but at some point, you might wanna talk to her, just so you know. I mean, sooner or later, she's gonna connect the dots, or you're gonna tell her, right, if she's your best friend.
I'm not gonna tell her. If she figures it out, she figures it out.
I'm not gonna say anything. If you, it's
If
probably
you
the
talk to her,
same
beforehand. Is that fair?
mentality she has about the police. I'm not gonna say anything unless, you know, I'm asked about it, right? Just like with her friend. I'm not gonna tell her unless she figures it out.
You right here.
She's sneaky, but she's smart sneaky.
Just look, man, I know you worked at Anadarko, he did too. I know he murdered his wife and kids. I know he was a dog. I know you're my best friend. I know you have a good heart. I know that that guy needs to go to jail and he will. I know you don't want publicity, and neither would I. I know that as a witness, if you say anything, it can cause.
Okay. Another thought I have is, she claims in this interrogation, you know, when she's fake crying and all that stuff. What did she say? She says something like, gonna go. He annihilated his whole family. What did he think, that we were gonna be together afterwards? There must have been something that you either did or said that would have made him have that type of perception that if I did get rid of my family, that you would still tag along and be right next to me.
You respect that, I'm here for you regarding your dad, you know this. And then she's
But what's
freaking out and freaking
you
out.
guys never had a conversation except for this past text messages about Chris and his children.
No, that was it. That was it.
That's fine.
I mean, because he wasn't really something that I, like, super wanted everybody to know about, and I shouldn't have even mentioned it when she brought up what she had, like, going on sexually with her fiance, and it happened, but at that
You
point.
guys are best friends, it's understandable.
Yeah, see, and she keeps trying to talk about it. She says, if you're not under investigation by the police, I don't care. Why can't you attend your so-called best friend's father's death? It doesn't make sense to me. And all I told her was stop.
Why doesn't she want to
Yeah.
attend her best
Yeah.
friend to comfort her best friend? Because the Chris Watts case is going to give her more attention. That's it.
Okay?
Well, she kind of went on another rant, but it had nothing to do with Chris. And then
Why are they even talking about this? What does this have to do? This is what I keep saying is during these interrogations, she doesn't want to talk about any of the details of her because she talks about other people all the time, or she claims she doesn't remember. And if I was seeing a married person and he was telling me he was leaving his wife, I would be all over his wife's social media. Absolutely. Even before that. Even if I feel as a girl, when you have a crush on somebody, you're looking up everything. You are becoming friends with his friends so that you can talk to that person. I mean, even if she did Google him or Google Shanann in 2017, doesn't mean that she didn't go and look up Shanann elsewhere. She could have very much have been following what Chris wrote on social media, knowing that Chris wouldn't be writing that stuff and it's really her. Shanann let everybody know that she was pregnant. I mean, she does work at the same company, and I would think news would travel fast within the company. It was not a hidden secret. I don't believe for 1 minute she didn't creep into Shanann's Facebook. No, she definitely did. Whether she did it on an incognito browser or on a burner, whatever, who knows? But she definitely, as a girl, and especially if you are a mistress, you are definitely checking up on the status of the relationship, whether from Chris or on social media. It's just what girls do. It's just what girls do. Oops.
all of these things that he's saying are happening are happening.
I can't
I want
stand
to
her
know
body
that, like,
language in this
you were doing
interrogation
this,
either. The way that she's
like
sitting.
you said you were, prior to me coming in your life, and it had nothing to do with me, you know? And so, for me, it was like,
She talks about herself a lot. It has nothing to do with me. So for me, it's kind of like, who cares?
I really wanted them to fix it. I would have just, like, left the situation.
So tell me why Shanann calling a realtor and him mentioning that they were going to be divorced. Why do you think it's important?
Because, so after that, he was like, she's the one who called the realtor, and I remember, I was like, damn, that was fast, because I knew he told me, like, we were gonna put the house up, but they said, he was like, we didn't know how much to offer for it, and we were kind of trying to find somebody, and it, like, so for the first few weeks that I hung out with him, he kind of, like, dragged his feet on, hey, this is happening, and then after North Carolina, he's like, yeah, she wants to put the house up, she's the one that called the realtor, and I was like, kind of taken back, not necessarily at the speed of it.
That makes me remember about Chris's confession, him saying that in his scenario that Shanann went and attacked the girls because she found out about the mistress, the affair, when she's known for weeks about it. He doesn't, I think it's just so interesting because he doesn't know that she's known it for weeks. Doesn't matter if he keeps denying it. If you're having an argument with your wife about an affair, the first thing that, in my thinking, that's going to happen is she's going to, you're going to argue, and if she was going to attack anybody, her first thinking is not to attack her children. Her first thinking would be to attack you. Yeah, her 2-minute breakdown, that was a fake cry. But yeah, she stopped crying immediately after that, and it was very weird. It sounded very overdramatic.
How long he said that they've been separated, but the fact that she did it like the day after he supposedly sat down and had a conversation with her about, hey, do we fix this or do we not fix this relationship?
So, do you remember how many days she was back in Colorado before leaving? Do you know that?
Because I don't remember when they got home.
Right. They get home, he had told you North Carolina that they agreed to and they're finalized their relationship.
Yeah.
They get home and she immediately wants to sell the house.
Yes, and then, so, I mean, I started thinking, okay, well, I know in Colorado, houses sell very fast here, so I was like, what's your plan? And I was like, because you might want to be prepared, and I remember that's when the whole concept came up of, you probably need to start looking for a new place pretty quick, and that was when he was kind of overwhelmed with it, and I told him, I was like, look, like, I just moved a few months ago.
Look, she asked him, what's your plan? And then she says, he got really overwhelmed.
And I was like, to find a place that was comfortable for me, it was like, it took, like, a lot of research. And that's what I
Took a lot of
offered him.
research.
I was like, I'll help you. And he seemed pretty.
She spent all that time researching an apartment for him. And then she wants to claim that the relationship was not serious. Why, if the relationship is not serious, why would you research an apartment? And take so many hours to do it, to find the perfect place.
Gung-ho about it for like the first week, and he seemed very grateful, and I was putting in work on it. I was like,
She was putting in work.
And kind of letting him know about places, and there really wasn't that many options in Brighton. I found one. I actually texted it to myself before I texted it to him, because I still have that in my phone too. Because I found it and it was great, but it was like right at the beginning of my search, and I was like, I don't want to inundate him.
So you said a week. Do you think you worked on that for a week?
No, I honestly only probably spent like a few hours or a few days and just trying to like line it up.
Just trying to think about how many days she had been back where you were working on that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Work, I would just like spend a couple hours if I had time, like at the end of my day. Or
Now she's trying to make it seem like it wasn't that big deal of how I researched. It was only a couple hours after work. But you just stated that you put into, it was hard work. You put in the work to find him the perfect place.
Yeah.
I really hope that they are still keeping some time, like her case file open, whether or not they're investigating or not, but to keep the file open in case she says something or it becomes more clear later on that she had more of an involvement. Because she's just very nonchalant about the whole situation. In the corner you wrote she was trying to help me. What do you mean? I think he needed a partner that was controlling. I think he's just used to having a strong woman kind of telling him what to do all the time. And I think he was okay with that. I think a lot of people were online talking about how Shanann is bossy, didn't give him time, or didn't treat him friendly in the videos. But you kind of have to understand that those lives were constructed in a way to sell her product. Chris was not a salesman. He, I mean, didn't he try to attempt to sell Thrive to one of his coworkers, and the coworker was totally not into the idea? You know, there was no sense of him. There was no reason for him to be in the video except for to be present to show the happy lifestyle. You know, the positive lifestyle of Thrive. You could have a husband and children and a big house and a car. I think even in the discovery files, Shanann's mom also had a temper, and I think they said that that temper gave Shanann anxiety as well. Which is why I think that she was okay with, you know, taking the reins and controlling the household and all that stuff, and Chris allowed it. My thing is, as well, because I hear people who are talking about, well, he just wanted not to be controlled so much, but wasn't he in the relationship for like 8 years or something like that? And you know how the person is after like 3 or 4 years. You know how the person is, so it wasn't a surprise that she's the gung-ho type of person. No, I don't think that she hurt the babies at all. I think Chris told in his type of way what actually transpired, which was, and I think he told it through Shanann, that Bella got first, then it was baby Cece, and then Shanann died. And I think he killed Bella first. And the reason why I think that as well is because her murder was so violent. There's a lot more injuries to that little baby's face than anybody else's. And what really makes me upset, and through all her text messages, Shanann's text messages, we could see how hard she was fighting for this relationship. And as a woman, or even as a man, we've all been in those type of relationships where we're trying so hard to make it work, and the other person is just closed off. And because of the fact of how we know how the events transpire, you in your mind, or at least in my mind, you're thinking, I wish you could see the sign of this, him talking about being in his head and not knowing what to do, and the picture and all this stuff. You kind of wish that she even wrote in one of the text messages to her friend, I think it was Addie, after talking to him, I don't feel safe being around him. And you kind of wish that maybe she would have just stayed in North Carolina. She would have just stayed away. But he got her to come home, and she tried so hard to fix this relationship.
To the lazy dogs. Yes. Or the two lazy dogs. All right. What else?
Yeah, so the reason that this is important is because
Did you
he,
give Zaza a weenie?
like, up to that point, seemed like he was all about it, you know, and I was respecting him. I wasn't like, oh, you need to get this, you need to get that. I was like, what city do you want to live in? What side of town is she staying in? How close do you want to be to work? How close do you want to be to your kids? I mean, I asked him everything. I just wanted him to have something that was.
She asked him everything.
And he told me that she was probably going to stay in Frederick.
She asked him that's it. She wants to know for a fact that he is going to leave his wife. That's what I think bothered me the most, even if you lost it in a heat of passion. But when he did that to the children at that point, he didn't care anymore. Yeah, he didn't care. That's part of the reason why I think that he got to the children before Shanann got home. Because at that point, there was nothing left to do but to finish off everything by getting Shanann. You know, he even said when he deleted his Facebook and that friend of his asked him if he deleted it, I did it to liberate myself. He wanted nothing to do with his current family, and he wanted to try a life with North Korea. He wanted complete freedom from any type of burdens. He didn't want he just wanted complete freedom. This makes me it really pulls, it's really heavy on my heart.
He didn't seem sure anymore, and that was the part that I wanted.
Let me go back to this.
And
He
I
didn't
was
seem
like,
sure about what?
He had told me that he wanted to go look at some places the upcoming week. We were supposed to go do that on Wednesday. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, what places do you want to go see? And I was like, did you really like that place that I showed you? Because it was just like super convenient for everything. It had a little playground and it had a pool. Like it would have been awesome for his kids, and it was cheap. And
You hear it?
so
You hear the way she said, and it was cheap. I wonder if she knew a little bit. I wonder if Chris divulged to her that there were. I think didn't he tell her something about Shanann spends all the money? Can't remember.
It was like close to Frederick. It was like it was close to the gym. It was close to work. It was close to me. It was close to everything. And it was in Brighton.
Close to me. It was close to everything.
And so I was like, did you want to go check that place out? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And he like didn't seem sure anymore. And that was the part that I wanted to tell you. I just figured I'd give you all the backstory.
Sure. So he's not sure about the particular apartment or about even leaving?
So he told me that he looked at it and he told me that he thought it was nice, but it didn't really seem like his interest was that piqued. And I was like, well, did you find anything that you really wanted to look at? And he told me, yeah, that he found a few, but nothing that really, really piqued his interest. And I was like, well, you might want to get started. And he's like, well,
Yeah.
I found one.
I was like, you might want to get started. Trying to again pressure him to leave. Like, if you're encouraging somebody to stay with your wife, why even be in the relationship anymore? Why not just move on to somebody else? What was it about Chris that North Korea wanted? I wonder if he had just moved out like a normal person and gotten a divorce like a normal person. I really wonder how long their relationship would have lasted. Or if he would have moved out and she would have been like, yep, I'm done, see ya, and not have cared.
And I asked him, I said, which one is it? Because I think I've looked at like every apartment in Brighton and maybe I'll remember it. And
she claims that she only researched a couple hours, a couple days after work, but she's now saying, I researched like every single apartment in Brighton. So you have no option but to either, take this apartment because I found you the perfect place. She spent a lot of time looking in his price range, what's close to his family, what's close to the gym, what's close to the pool for activities. She spent a lot of time. She wanted this other life with him. I mean, didn't he even say in a message back to her, to the mistress, like,
disregarded it. And it was kind of strange to me because like the whole week prior, he was like so excited that I was trying to help him because he's busy, I'm busy, so I was like.
I think it's interesting here too because Janan kind of felt the same way. One week he'd be really into me, the next week he wouldn't, and he's doing the same thing to her.
Like, you look, I'll look, let's see if we can try to narrow it down to like 4 or 5 spots, and then we'll find something that's good for you and the girls, you know, and he seemed like very enthusiastic about it. Like during the week when the conversations first really started ramping up about like, you gotta figure something out because that house is gonna sell really fast, you know, or at least be prepared. And
So why do you think he was removed or not interested on your Saturday night, wherever you guys were?
point, like, maybe he already knew something interested, and I was like, okay, and I was like, well, we don't have to do that on Wednesday if you don't want to. And he's like, no, I know I need to get it done.
I know I need to
And
get
I
it
was like,
done.
all right.
You don't have to do that on Wednesday. No, I know I gotta get it done. Alright, well, I hope this live was, kind of gave you a little bit more to think about, as well as Nick Horner, you gave me a lot to think about as well. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe if you wish. This is just an open discussion. It's a subjective commentary and analysis of different cases. Right now, I'm only going to do cases that I'm interested in. I'm just very, like, I can't tear myself away from this Chris Watts case because I just think it's such a tragedy, and there's a lot of questions that I still have about this case, and points that I think that people aren't really discussing about, but there's also a couple other cases that I've started to look into. I just don't think that there's enough information worth discussing because I only want to put out information or up videos that I think would generate a discussion. So I hope that everybody here has a happy new year and good health in the new year. Bye.